guys, what's going on? It's Bikini Gamer here. Hope everybody's doing really great today. So on today's video, I wanted to share the story with you guys, something that happened to me a while ago, and just want to share it with you guys because I felt like I was maybe too trustworthy and naive at the time, and I hope that this doesn't happen to you guys or you guys don't go through anything like this. So this basically has to do with a coworker that I had a long time ago, and he was a barber at the salon I worked at. And I remember he had a girlfriend and he had a younger daughter. She was like 2 years old. He told me that he wanted to get a pit bull. And I told him like, oh, okay, that's cool. But, you know, pit bulls are a lot of responsibility or whatnot. And I remember him telling me that he lives in a small apartment. And I told him, like, maybe that's going to be too much, you know, that's going to be too many people in one apartment for the dog. You know, dog's pretty big. It's going to get bigger. He was like, oh, no, you know, I think it should be fine. Regardless, he ended up getting the dog. And a few months later, guess what? He obviously told me, hey, you're right, like, the dog is too much responsibility, and I kind of just want to, you know, get rid of it. And I'm like, well, I mean, what are you going to do with it? He's like, well, I've listed it, and I've tried to, you know, tell my friends about it, but nobody wants the dog. And I asked him, I'm like, okay, so what's your plan? He's like, well, I just think I'm going to go to the park and drop him off, and, you know, he'll figure it out. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm a dog lover. Like, you know, what the hell? Like, that was so, like, to me, that's super inhumane. Like, the dog's gonna just get run over. And I feel like also, like, a lot of people do that. Like, especially pit bulls, like, they just breed pit bulls and they just sell them to whoever. And those pit bulls end up in bad homes. So I just felt really bad. So I told the guy, I'm like, hey, I'm actually, you know, how about this? Like, I actually do, I think my apartment's a little bigger than yours. I do already have a dog, so I can't keep your dog, but I could maybe try to find it a home, and he could stay with me until he finds, or I find him a home. He's like, okay, that's cool. You know, I just wanted to get the dog off his hands because I didn't want him to end up just going to the park and, you know, dropping off the dog there, and God knows what will happen to the dog. So what I ended up doing, I picked up that dog and I brought him to my house, and he stayed in my house for I think like a week or so. I posted an ad on Craigslist and I listed the dog. You know, obviously I was gonna give the person the cage, the leash, the food, everything that the dog I had purchased for the dog, and everything the dog came with. And all I asked was a $50 rehoming fee because I wanted to make sure that whoever did get this dog, that at least they had a little bit of money to kind of take care of the dog. You know, I didn't want to post the dog for free. Obviously, I could have given the dog away for free, but I feel like anybody, if you say free, anybody will be like, oh, I'll take the dog, obviously. So I just wanted to make sure he was going to go to a loving home or somebody that was going to take care of him, or at least had a little bit of money to take care of the dog. A few days went by and I got a few inquiries, but I felt like they weren't really right and they kind of sounded sketchy. So actually, I got a call from this girl and she seemed to be very interested. She told me that she lived in a 3-story house and the dog was going to stay downstairs. And, you know, I think she had like a family or something. So she seemed like a mom, like with like 2 kids, and everything was going to be fine and dandy. You know? So I gave this girl my address, or the apartments where I stayed, I guess the leasing house or whatever, and I met her there by the pool. And I had the dog, and actually it was for this guy, which I guess was her husband or her cousin or something like that. Or it seemed like they were a family. So when I get there, it was like this really nice car, or I guess like a Chrysler 300 or whatever you call us, and it was like a brand new car, and there was like 2 kids in the back seat, and the girl was sitting in the passenger seat, and it was this guy driving. And I spoke to the guy. He was actually a Hispanic guy. He was like, hey, like, you know, like I said, this dog's for my family and stuff. He's just gonna stay in the basement. I just want him to take care of the house. And I was like, okay, like that seems like really cool. And it seemed like the family was really calm and chill. So I was like, okay, like for the most part, everything was perfectly fine. I gave him the cage. I gave him all the stuff. All I asked of the guy, I'm like, okay, so I had his number because, you know, obviously he called me from his cell phone number. And I'm like, you know, can I go visit you like maybe sometime this week? I think it was like a Tuesday that day. So I was like, maybe on the weekend, can I come by and like check on the dog to make sure he's fine? Like, that's all I ask of. You know, I just want to maybe visit him like for like the first week or something like that to just make sure the dog's okay. He's like, yeah, that's totally fine. You know, today I have to go get settled the dog and, you know, obviously make sure everything's fine. So I'll text you the address when I get home or whatnot. So I was like, okay, perfect, sounds good. So the guy didn't give me his address. He just told me he would text it to me. So I trusted the guy that he would. I woke up the next day and it was like 12 o'clock and he never texted me. So I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. So I ended up texting him. I'm like, hey, that's the girl that, you know, gave you the dog. Could you, you know, text me your address or let me know maybe when I could come by to just check on the dog? So he never texted me back that day, and I was like, okay, that's weird. So I tried calling the number, and the guy wouldn't answer. He wouldn't answer my phone calls. Then I texted him, and I'm like, hey, like, I'm really serious. Like, I want to see the dog. Like, I just want to make sure he's okay. And the guy obviously never replied. I ended up finding out that this guy, he had a T-Mobile cell phone, and I had a friend that worked at T-Mobile. So I went to the T-Mobile store, and I got the guy's name, and I got his address. So yes, I'm kind of crazy. So I went to his place. I went to the address that was listed under the cell phone number. And guess what it was? It was an apartment complex. So most likely this guy, like, he just made it seem like he had a family, which maybe he did. Well, most likely what happened to the dog is that he ended up being fought. I know people have like pit bull fights and stuff, and they use like bait dogs, which are dogs that are not really gonna fight back or anything, to practice on them or I guess train them or whatnot. And I felt so guilty about it. I felt so sad. Like, I feel like if this guy had nothing to hide, obviously he would have been completely fine with me maybe coming over, or at least would have texted me back or said something to me, or even met me at the park with the dog, or anything between those lines. But obviously I was super dumb. I was a complete idiot by trusting this guy and thinking that he was going to give him a good home. And the fact that he brought his family kind of made me trust him, and I thought the dog is gonna have a good home. It's been like a couple of years. It's been like 2 years, and I don't even know where the dog is at. The guy never called me back. I knocked on the door in their apartment, and nobody lives there. So I don't know if the guy maybe lives there. He didn't answer me, but obviously the story that he told me that he had a 3-story house is not true. So I mean, I'm sorry to kind of bring this down on you guys. I guess I just kind of want to bring awareness towards dogs, because I know, they can't speak, and I'm a big dog lover myself, and we're kind of like the only people that can protect them against other, kind of bad people, and especially pit bulls. They're not really wanted, or a lot of people don't like them because of their bad reputation, and it makes me so sad because this dog was super cute, super nice, and it was like the best dog I've ever had, and I can't believe I was a complete idiot by trusting this guy, and now I don't even know what happened to the dog. But I do hope that what comes out of this video is to at least teach you guys maybe something that I went through myself, and maybe you guys won't be so trustworthy or maybe naive. And sometimes things are too good to be true, and I think I should have made a little bit more research, or even met this guy at his own house, so I can verify that he actually did live in a 3-story house, or whatever the story was that he told me. But I guess that now all I can do is just learn from it and move on from this, and make sure that it doesn't happen again. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at BikiniGamer99. And as always, game on. Ciao.